I've seen some videos of, I don't know, people trying to help people work on their relationships and stuff. And, it's important to learn some different ways of doing things, because all of the stuff that they have created has been to, you know, make our relationships not work out. Like, everything in this society has been to make us fail, not succeed in relationships, in life, and everything. So, and all of the people who have just gone in, looking for someone to save them, make them feel better, you know, not worked on themselves at all, and then went and got in relationships, had kids. I mean, like, I think about, with the dogs. I talk about the dogs all the time. But, they're this kind little creature that is on the planet. We've taken them, we have, messed with their DNA. We've given them all sorts of problems, like poor Stella with her hip dysplasia and her severe arthritis since she was a puppy. To do that to other creatures, like, we had the right to do that because we thought it would be cute, like, like Trixie as a golden doodle. Oh, wouldn't it be cute if we put a poodle and golden retriever together? Let's just do that. And then it's not even the ones who do that so much, but I'm just talking about our our emblazoned kind of, like, we can do whatever we want to them. And it's the ones that just keep on doing the inbreeding, I think, is what gets these diseases. There's a lot of dog problems that for full-bred dogs, they have a lot more issues because of the breeders. They do shitty stuff and to just make money. There's just evil people out there in a system of corruption, and they have figured out ways to profit in this corrupt world. And so when you have these people, these empty shells of people, and they're just looking for something to make them feel good. I mean, how many people go get a puppy? So many people go get a puppy. Then how many people's puppies just end up dropped off on the street because they're too much of a bother? They are locked outside because they drive them crazy. They are, hit and kicked and beat into submission, cowering in a corner. They are full of anxiety. We're feeding them cardboard that comes in an expensive bag and is giving them cancer. And we have a medical system that doesn't protect them. They just want to make money off of the people who care about them. Just like funeral people. But, there's some good vets out there who really do care about animals, but the system does not. And, there's good and bad in everything, but we're talking about the system. So then we have people who go and get these dogs to fill a need, but the dog's not going to fill that need. Just like we have people who go and have children to try and mend their relationship. Like, this will fix things. I'll just go have a baby. If we have a baby and we can love this baby together, oh, we'll be so perfect. But having a baby, then you find out really how different you are from this other person. And, if you're not a good place in a relationship, your problems just got about 100,000 times worse. And, that's the whole problem, is that people just keep going and looking outside of themselves to feel good. What can I do outside of me? If I do this, will I feel good? If I do this, will I feel good? Maybe if I go, get naked and post pictures online, then everybody will tell me I'm so beautiful and they'll be nice to me and I'll feel good. But that only lasts a couple seconds. And then you're going to have other people are going to say mean stuff, and you're going to end up feeling small. So you need that little charge again, a little charge. They've got people who will, basically do anything for that little charge of like to feel good for a second. But the magic that it really is that you can feel good all the time, but you don't go outside of yourself to find it. It's all inside of you. It's everything is inside of you to make you feel good. But you have to get to know yourself. You have to delve into yourself. And so many people, that just seems like, they haven't been taught anything about it. They don't have any clue. I mean, to think that we had to, in 2020, I think, maybe it started a little sooner, but to have to tell people how to, to do self-care. I mean, really? Like, that is where we're at in this world, that, we're just now figuring out, oh, maybe you should care for yourself. Maybe you should take some time to just you time. Like, people don't even understand what to do with it either. Like, I have a daughter who, and I've talked about it before, who, for her self-time, it's, to read or, some other kind of thing that's distracting her mind. That is not really just you getting to know you. That is you getting to know what, this author is trying to tell you, to another way to distract your mind, another way that you can put yourself in a place of fantasy so that you don't have to face yourself or the real problems around you. I just watched, I think it's called Man in the Moon. I actually watched it twice. But I'm pretty sure it's the documentary about the Andy Kaufman one. And Jim Carrey talks, he says so many, really profound things. And it's so crazy too. Once he started talking about some of this stuff, how people just started attacking him and saying he was crazy. It's like, what? That's all anybody ever wants to do. If somebody says something they don't understand, just, you're crazy, you're crazy. Oh, I don't know about that, so you're crazy. It's like, well, maybe you could just say, hey, could you tell me more about it? I'd like to understand more about it. People are just so, the stuff that I see in my head is just, it's funny sometimes. So anyways, in the movie, there was something that he said I wanted to make a point about. I can't even remember what I was saying a second ago. But anyways, it's just really important to, get to know yourself. And when you spend time getting to know yourself and not just, looking outside of yourself for something else, like, people use so many different things to not really know themselves. They're just always trying to get a reaction. Always trying to get some sort of connection, some sort of interaction, some sort of response or something. And, getting to know yourself can be very quiet, except for when you're crying, but it can be a very quiet experience, It is, you don't want other things involved. You don't want a bunch of noise. You don't want all that stuff. You want to be able to give your mind, your emotions, these other parts of yourself, this ability, this chance to communicate with you. You're so caught off. That's the, the matrix, and having so caught up in the illusion, you're so cut off from yourself that you don't even know how to get in touch with yourself, your inner self, the part of you that, really wants to be out there. That's the part of you that makes you feel good all the time. Like, there's not anybody out there on the planet that can make you feel good all the time. And even if you get really close to yourself, you can't just feel good all the time, but you know how to find it. You know where it's at, so I can, feel super sad or super beat down or whatever by some situation. And, I can just roll right out of it. It's just like, oh, nice to meet you. Okay, go. Just roll right through it. It won't press me. It won't hold me back. It won't make me just be, incapable of continuing. And, so many people get so stuck in these emotions of, it can be so many things. Yeah, so many different things that don't even have to be happening, but you're giving your power away. So then when this person disappoints you because they didn't take it and hold it, like so gently. Oh, God, drama queen. Just a second, please. They don't just come and, this golden jewel you gave me, your self-esteem, your whole, your self-identity is resting in someone else's hand. They can crush you in a second by telling you, I can sit here and say like certain things that they could do or say, or how this could play out and how that could play out, but it's just, as soon as I start to say it, I get like rushed in. Like, that's the thing with perspective. There's a million different ways to come at something. There's a million different ways it can play out. There's a million different ways that this is going to happen for every single person. But that is, why you need to take that time to yourself. And if you go in and you have that communication with yourself, you'll get a clearer view. You'll get a clearer vision of things. And once you learn to love yourself, then it won't matter, other people's perspectives. You get in the idea like that's just their perspective. And they're coming from a very wounded place. So why do I care if they think this or they think that? That is their own journey, to come out of this darkness. It is like this being trapped in the desert, and you have to, find your own way out. You have to have that inside of yourself that you will succeed, that you will, you'll conquer, you will overcome. You find your resilience. You find all of these parts of yourself, things in you that you look at others and think like, oh man, that's really cool. I wish I could do that. Well, you can. Get to know yourself. You can do the same things, and it's not that hard. And, I'll try and talk about it more and try and explain it in more detail. But yeah, when I try and go in detail, I just get rushed with like visions and words and stuff. When they tell me the stuff and I just write stuff, then sometimes I'm just amazed at some of the stuff, because it can be such simple concepts, but concepts that we don't really think about. Yeah, just like me going into my dryer balls, opening my dryer and putting my clothes in and looking at my dryer balls and going, oh, those dryer balls have got a lot of hair on them, or fuzzes or whatever, little lint things or whatever. And then my daughter coming, hey, Mom, you can take the hairs off of your lint balls. I'm like, oh, I didn't even, just look at them and didn't even think like, oh, maybe I should take the hair off my lint balls. But that is basically where we're at, It's every single thing. Like, there's so many times I could be, oh, I'd really like to do this or really like to do that. And you just sit there and sit there and sit there. And it's like, oh, I can go do that. So, it's just getting right with your own mind. But I'll try and talk about it more. It was something they told me the other day, though, that was just, I was going to just read it. It was so, so good. And, but when I started talking, it was just like so much chatter. It feels kind of like, when you start talking and they know you're tuning in, that like they're being heard, they're being listened to, and so they kind of like, it becomes like this excited energy, like where they're like, oh, this, tell that, So it's a lot sometimes. But yeah, writing it sometimes, that's a good way too. If you just can't, get the voices straight in your head, is another thing to just start writing stuff, start writing, you can start by writing the question, write your question. And for me, they'll start saying stuff. And it's funny too, because I can hear my own self. Sometimes like this person who I have this connection with, they'll start chiming in. They'll start saying stuff. And I'll hear my own self talking to them as I'm listening to what's being said. Sometimes I'll try and complete a sentence and they'll be like, no. And they'll tell me and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even, oh, that's so cool. So you will get, like, it's real communication. This isn't like, crazy people who are, listening to the voices in their head saying, go murder. I mean, there's people who are having that happen too, but it's because they're not aware of the voices that are outside of them. They think everything is coming from inside. Like that scary movie. Except for they aren't inside. They're outside. They're trying to get inside. Well, I mean, they're in there talking to you, but you have the ability to push them out. So anyways, I will try and do something that's a little bit more like, maybe like the steps or something. Try and come up with some actual ways. That's why I like to talk about different things with different people, because it kind of, I feel like it gives you, well, I always like those books. When I used to read self-help books all the time, I like the ones that gave different people's stories, because of it, you got to kind of like see it play out. So, I'll try and come up with some more of some of the stuff that I see going on around me with people's relationships and stuff, and maybe it will help somebody get a better idea if they don't understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so I will talk to you later. Bye.